We've got tips and recipes for healthy living. So for fun and inspiration, come and join us in the raw food world.
Because literally, I mean, I could have died, and if it weren't for modern medicine, I very well would have died. I may have, you know, modern medicine or just a very talented birth facilitator, like, that could do what the doctor did. So I thought I was going to have a lovely home birth that would be perfect, and as it turned out, I needed to go to the hospital. The baby was fine. But I went to the hospital, and they got my placenta to come out without surgery. And it was a humbling experience for me to recognize that sometimes conventional medicine has a part to play, even in my life, and as natural as I try to have it be. So, anyway.
Wow.
Yeah, it was intense. I almost died. So getting ready for the second birth, it's no wonder I overcompensated by having everything in order, because I had almost died. And it's interesting because when you give birth, you definitely have a part of your brain that opens up to receive that experience. And then a lot of that part of your brain kind of closes itself off afterwards, so that you don't constantly remember, like, you know, if it's a painful labor, which it was for me, definitely the first time, you don't remember the pain so much. You just remember all of the good stuff. And then when you're approaching that same time again, if you're having another baby, that part of your brain starts to open up again to receive that birth experience again. And when that happened to me, I realized that part of my brain was filled with fear and trauma and all the scary experiences that I'd had. And so I had to sit with that for a while. I'd had this completely blissful pregnancy. I was on top of the world on a cloud. And then I suddenly was filled with, like, gripped with fear, like almost immobilized by it. And then I realized, you know, I guess I processed it out. I used some plant spirit medicine to help with that. But ultimately what it came down to was, I have faith that if I'm meant to be here on the planet, I'm going to be here. If I'm not, if my purpose is to leave the planet, then I'll leave. But if I'm supposed to be here, I'll be here. So having that faith, I was able to completely surrender the outcome. I'm not in control. Even though I had done all the work I could possibly do to be prepared for it, ultimately, I had to surrender. And when I surrendered, it was amazing. It was like petals of a flower just flowing away in the wind. All of my fears were completely gone. And I spent the rest of my pregnancy back in bliss land.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Wow. Breastfeeding.
Yeah. Yes, and lots of it.
So you co-sleep with your child.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And you're not scared of rolling on top of this little precious thing?
There's no way that I would roll over onto my child. I'd have to be on morphine to do something like that. I'd have to be, like, you know, on drugs. You know, you develop these instincts. You develop these senses. I mean, we all have senses, right? I used to sleep like a log before I had babies. Now I hear the tiniest little mouse noise from the baby, and I'm awake and I'm checking him out and seeing if he's okay. So.
What about your husband? Are you scared he's gonna roll on him?
No, because I trust him. I trust that he's not going to harm our child. I trust that I'm not going to harm our child. I know I'm not going to harm our child. It's not even a question. There's no way I would harm him.
Okay, so back to breastfeeding. Like, I've heard that, you know, sometimes women have issues breastfeeding, like it hurts, like cracked nipples and stuff like that, or the baby doesn't latch on correctly and stuff like that. Did it come naturally to you?
Breastfeeding, yes. It did. I knew two things when I had a baby, and I don't know why I knew them. I just did. I knew that I wanted to use cloth diapers, and I knew that I wanted to breastfeed my child for a long time. And my mother had breastfed me for a long time, so I think that's probably where I got that notion. And breastfeeding came very naturally to me. There was a little, I mean, yeah, there's some pain, like it's different with all women. Each woman is different. I experience some pain with the letdown when the milk comes. It feels kind of like this sharp, needly pain going to my breast. And I've dealt with clogged ducts and, you know, minor breast infections and things like that, and I always nursed through them. And I used a lot of essential oils. And massage is really, really key for any kind of breastfeeding problems. Just the touch is really important to massage it through. And then I used some essential oils that were really powerful, antibacterial, antiviral oils, anti-infection. And I found that they cleared within 3 days was the most, you know. And there can be some pain involved with all of that, and it's good. It's a big journey of exploring our femininity as women, because when, you know, a lot of this stuff has been suppressed for so many generations. A lot of it is not stuff that we know, and it's not in our conscious mind, but it's very deep in our subconscious mind. So a lot of it is an amazing journey of exploring our what's subconscious and what it means to be a woman, and all of the rites of passage that go with that. So there's always some emotional component to any challenges you might feel with a pregnancy and with a birth and with raising your children. There's always some kind of as part of your curriculum to figure out what the lesson is. And, you know, morning sickness, you know, any of the problems that can happen with pregnancy and birth.
You mentioned, like, you were confused why God had both breasts giving milk at the same time.
And God, if I could lodge one complaint about it, it would be, why is it that when the child's nursing on one boob, that the other one is pouring milk out too? I don't quite get that. Am I supposed to, like, let it flow a river onto the ground or something to, like, give back to the earth? Or, you know, is there some other reason for that? But yes, that's highly illogical that both breasts would need to do that at one time. But yes, so I find that very often when I'm having conversations with people, I'm just doing this. I'm just sitting here plugging one of my nipples. Thank you very much.
So you had a theory of why you think that both of them went at the same time?
No, I'm just postulating. It's quite possible that the other breast could be given to somebody else that you love.
Like your partner?
Like your partner, for instance.
That's what I'm... All right, I think that's enough for today. We've got...
Angela Stexmonic.
And
Summer and Darshan Kolazar.
Woo! And Matt Monarch. And we'll see you again tomorrow at the Raw Food World TV show.
Thanks for joining us. We'll see you again at the Raw Food World.
But you needed proof. You saw her bathing on the roof. Her beauty and the moonlight overthrew you. She tied you to a kitchen chair.